Hello, this is the Carbondale Community High School math team solution for the math field day problem, and we wanted to try to find a general form for the summation of the fractional part of k times m over n from k equals 1 to n minus 1, where m and n are relatively prime positive integers, and the brackets of x denotes the fractional part of x. So we had the solution for this by changing this into the general form of the sum of an arithmetic sequence from the first term all the way up to the nth term. And the way we figured out that it was an arithmetic sequence was we used a base case to prove that after we plug in any two relatively prime positive integers into this summation, we just end up getting 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus all the way up to n minus 1 divided by n, which you can conclude that produces an arithmetic sequence. So after we discovered that, we plugged in 1 to find out that the first term was the fractional part of m divided by n, and the last term in the sequence was m times the quantity n minus 1 over n, the fractional part of that entire quantity. So using these three things, this is what we have for the general form. This is what we have for the general form for the sum of this entire summation. We have n minus 1 times the quantity of the fractional part of m over n plus the fractional part of m times the quantity of n minus 1 divided by n. And we simplified this part down into m times n minus m divided by n because we just distributed m over that binomial. So after we did that, we simplified this fraction down even further by dividing n by those two terms. So we ended up getting m minus m over n. And from this step, we got to this step by using a definition where the fractional part of x plus c equals the fractional part of x, where x is in the domain of the reals and c is in the domain of the integers. And the way that we know that c is in the domain of the integers is because we found out from the beginning of the problem that m was a relatively prime positive integer. So since m was a subset of the integers, that means m is an integer. So we can use this definition in order to simplify this down into negative m divided by n. And after we simplified that down, we ended up getting this entire quantity right here. And we used another definition where the fractional part of x plus the fractional part of negative x equals 0 if x is in the domain of the integers, or 1 if x is not in the domain of the integers. And we know that m divided by n is not in the domain of the integers because m and n are relatively prime positive integers, and therefore m divided by n can't simplify down into any integer. And using that knowledge that m and n are relatively prime, we can conclude that this equals 1 based on that knowledge. And therefore we can simplify that down into 1. So we get the sum of the first n minus 1 terms of that summation equals n minus 1 over 2. And that's the solution to this math field day problem. Thank you.